Hey there, this is DPO427. Just doing a quick shout out to Wilhelmina Beatrice Stanner, aka WB Stanner. It was great knowing you and great having you on board as a community manager. It's sad to see you go, but good luck for the future and hope everything turns out great for you. See ya.
Hey guys, this is Ogre Barbarian. I want to wish Stanner the best of luck in her future endeavors and a big thank you and a hug from me to her for all the work she did with us for DC Legends and all the effort she put in on our behalf as players to the dev team.
This is Mrs. Ogre Barbarian. It's going to be a long journey for you, but I wish you the best of luck. And it was a pleasure meeting you when I was able to go down there with Mr. Ogre Barbarian, and I wish you the best of luck.
Hey, Stanner, this is Grim. I just want to say congratulations on the new adventure you'll be taking on with the Harry Potter game. I know the DCL community will not be the same without you.
Hi, Stanner. This is Dulov, and I just want to thank you for all your support and for having us in the VIP group. And I wish you the best of luck in your future adventures with Harry Potter and the crew. So, good luck, and thank you again. Bye.
Black Kryptonian.
Welcome to WROL Broadcast. This is a special edition of the Meta Report. Normally we break this into multiple episodes, but due to some time constraints, I'm going to be out of town this weekend for several days. We're going to go ahead and do everything. So today we're going to talk about Aries, Mr. Miracle, Steppenwolf, and a few other items. Today with us we have Loot, Kage, and special guest Vorhess. Vorhess, you are a free-to-play player that has had a few choice words about the podcast a few times, but all in good taste. So
It is.
tell us a little bit, how did you get into DC Legends and how long have you been playing?
I started probably back in January, right after it launched. Really, to be honest with you, that was the first cell phone that I got. Was for Christmas from my wife. I've been kind of a holdout on that for a long time.
Wow.
And yeah, and actually, I'm pretty tech savvy guy. So all my buddies were like, "Yeah, that's dude, you're crazy." Anyway, needless to say, get the phone. I'm looking for something to do while I'm sitting on the toilet. There's DC Legends. So that's how I got started.
And all of our bathroom breaks have been extended due to this game.
It has, yeah. My legs have fallen asleep many times doing red alerts and
Yo, speak for yourself, man. Those, sitting on the toilet is a good way to get, hemorrhoids and everything.
Well, Loot does it at weddings, so
It's true.
to buy gems.
yeah, well, when you have kids, it's also a good time to get some alone time.
What part of are you in the U.S. Voorhees?
Oh yeah. I'm in Texas.
Oh, okay. Good old Texas man.
Yeah, I haven't lived here very long, maybe a couple years. I'm originally from California and Ohio and Oklahoma and all over the place.
Wow, you've been around.
DC Legends Nomad.
Yeah, kinda. Yep.
All right, guys, so let's get into it. We'll start with Steppenwolf since he's the easiest to talk about since there really wasn't a whole lot of changes. We'll go ahead and start with you, Kage. Have you messed with Steppenwolf since his miniature rework?
Yeah, I've always been pretty high on his kit. I like crit teams, kind of. I like the meter, more especially. His passive, all they did was just change his passive. They went from like 18% turn meter on a crit to 21% turn meter you gain. And then his basic, they nerfed a little bit, but when he's basic crits, everyone on the team gets hit chance up instead of just one character. That's really all they changed.
Well, I wouldn't say that's a nerf. I'd almost say that's a buff.
It was nothing. It was just kind of like, okay, instead of one guy gets a stack of hit chance ups, the whole team gets a couple of hit chance ups.
Yeah.
You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's all they really changed on him. There was really no real changes.
How about you, Luke?
Yeah, it seems pretty minor.
I could not tell.
That's kind of my opinion.
I didn't. I'm just happy they didn't break him. They didn't ruin him. I mean, the extra turn meter, great. Okay, it's a plus. I actually rebirthed him 2 days ago because he's awesome. Now he's just, I don't know, he's just exactly the same.
He seems to live a little bit longer, the teeny bit of extra stats.
Well, yeah, the stats did help him. A little bit more health. The reason why I rebirthed him was to give him even a little bit more health for survivability.
And Voorhees, you have him geared, correct?
Oh no, God no! I dropped the ball on him a long time ago.
Oh man, he's
Was
such
he
a
too
good
ugly
character.
for your roster or what, man?
What's that?
Was he too ugly for your roster, man?
No. I took kind of an extended vacation around the time Steppenwolf popped his head in, and when I came back, it was I'd missed a couple of them, and he was one of them. And ever since then, it's been kind of like I need to get on him. I think I have him like L2 right now, but man, there's so many other tunes, and you know how it is.
He's definitely worth it. L2
I know he is. I know he is.
Because all you really need is 4 and 1, and he's good to go.
And that's actually what I have is 4 and 1 on him. So yeah, it's when you're F2P, I mean you got to pick and choose. And unfortunately, like I said, I dropped the ball on him early, and he kind of got benched early on. And I'll get back on him eventually.
For Legendary Order,
he's gonna have a PvP week very soon.
Yeah, he should.
Oh yep, absolutely, yep.
For Legendary Order, I don't think I would change anything. I always liked 4-1-5-2-3, unless you never plan to use him as leader, but he's pretty good as a leader, especially if you don't have a better option. He doesn't need to be leader, but he's good as leader. So
I mean, that's his optimal kind of role.
Yeah.
Basically.
But there's so many good leaders. I mean, I've been mixing it up. In Siege, I've really appreciated, because I've been using Martian Manhunter to survive an initial hit by people. And then one thing I like is that I still run our old auto team, which was Steppenwolf, Black Adam, Donna Troy, and Castaway Green Arrow. And despite some popular myths out there that are still a little bit in the past, he survives pretty well against Wonder Girl. Doesn't matter. I run him on auto against Wonder Girl teams, and he does fine.
Yeah, so it really bugs me that people kind of exaggerate how OP Wonder Girl is now.
Well, I mean,
she's not that bad.
I was the biggest Wonder Girl hater on the planet, as everyone knows, and I don't flinch at her. I mean, she's still very strong, and I still respect and fear her at times, but she's not the dominant force she once was.
No,
I think it really is RNG dependent, because there are some fights where she doesn't really bother me at all, and then there are other fights where it's like whip. Why you keep whipping me? Every minute it's like whip.
Every now and again, she'll have a million strength ups and then whip.
She did like 3 whips in a row. Literally, she took 3 turns, like whip. I was like, oh my god.
I have had her almost one-shot Hal Jordan with enough strength ups on our passive, which normally he survives pretty well against her, but there's been a few times where she's terrifying. But I mean, overall, she's not that bad anymore. I'm more scared of Black Adam usually.
It's her. It's her, the one that gets me to where I'm like holding my phone by both ends and just putting every ounce of willpower I have to not snap it in half. It's definitely Wonder Girl for sure, but yeah, I like her. I mean, I hate her, but I like her. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm kind of in that same boat. Well, let's move on to Mr. Miracle. I didn't like him that much at first, and it's funny because I just had a Siege match that I ran against a team that had some debuffs from Arsenal, which, by the way, in Arsenal, we really got him wrong. He's definitely not a C character. I've come to appreciate what he can do, and I appreciate when I face him, because he can really neuter a team that isn't using special damage.
Oh yeah, you gotta respect his kit, man.
Yeah,
definitely.
He's better than I thought, but when I'm using Mr. Miracle, I actually come to respect him a little bit more, because giving that awareness plus moving the debuffs have actually been pretty useful for me a couple times now. And I think when you have his full kit, I mean, he's not a great character. I still feel like he's a poor man's Red Robin, but I think he does have kind of a niche place where he's not like Superboy or Blue Beetle bad. He's actually halfway decent. I know, Loot, you don't really like him at all, right?
I think he's terrible.
Really?
Every siege match I bring him into, he dies.
Yep.
So I stopped bringing him into siege matches. I'd rather use Orm. Yeah, he's squishy too, but at least he doesn't die like Miracle does.
I've not really had that problem, and the true sight that he gives has really helped me in a couple occasions.
I haven't been fighting teams that I needed it.
I've had a few where I had
my boards just haven't had those guys.
Well, I had one where Castaway Green Arrow was on the team, and he saved me. I mean, that match, I was like on pins and needles the whole time. And Mr. Miracle's the reason I was able to not lose a character. And then the call assist is more useful than I would have gave it credit for.
The call assist when running them with Barda is perfect.
So, hey, have you found any good synergies with him outside of Barda, or have you found any good team comps for
Well, I've been
Mr.
running,
Miracle?
when I play him, it's just been the whole bonus teams. So,
Barda, who's that?
which we're not going to talk about her much, but we do have, I would say, good things to say about her. And if you're watching the video version, you can see me facing Lutz R2 Barda. That is very impressive for R2. And we'll probably do a patron only episode to talk about her early thoughts and kind of go through her and everything. But obviously we'll do our normal video once we have her geared. And I'm not allowed to gear her because I can't run out of characters, which sucks. But that's a common complaint of mine. But back to Mr. Miracle, I think he has a place. I really do.
I think I'm going to hold my judgment. I mean, right now, I think he's not good at all. I think he needs to be L4 for me to even judge him, because I hate revive. I was just talking to you about that before.
Yeah.
I think the mechanic is terrible in a game that penalizes you for using it. So any skill that's about revive or does anything with revive, I almost don't even care about. So once he's L4, that to me is like his whole kit, and then I'll use him and we'll see what happens.
Now, Kage, you had a friend of yours, Mr. Zubaz, point play. What was the team again?
It was Master Manhunter at lead, Constantine, Riddler, and Mr. Miracle. And the idea behind that entire team was you're getting stacks of awareness, stacks of debuffs on people. It's not a pew-pew kind of team. It's a lot of call assisting and kind of just chipping away at the enemy while you're just hiding behind awareness. And I think you kind of ran that team a little bit just to play around. What were your thoughts?
It was fun. I mean, it's not a team you would go out of your way to gear those characters to play, because it's not by any stretch of the imagination a dominant team. But it was fun and effective. I mean, the team I faced had Wonder Girl and Harley Quinn. It was not a pushover team. And actually, it'd be in the video version of this podcast. And I mean, I was down to like no life, but I just kept using Mr. Miracle's awareness and then, stuns from Riddler, and you could muscle your way through it. So it was actually surprisingly fun. I think I sent that video to you, Vorhess, didn't I?
Oh, yeah, you did, actually. Yep, you sure did. I watched it. I watched them all. And, I'm going to do what I always do. I'm going to watch the whales, and you guys are going to tell me whether he's good or not.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be one of those characters that if you're resource limited, you're not probably going to do Mr. Miracle anytime soon unless he's a particular fan favorite. But he's not bad. I mean, they've done worse. I mean, you can't have every character be great or be OP.
He's not as bad as Raz.
No, not even close.
I don't know how everyone else does it as far as F2P, but as far as how I do it, when the new character's introduced, I start throwing resources into them, get them up to about, G10 level 60, and then I let you guys do the rest of the work. and then if he's cool, then I'll continue. If he's not, I'll move on to somebody else. That's how I roll. I think that's how a lot of people do it.
Yeah, I don't think
As
I'm
far
going to
as
play him
strategy.
much after Siege, probably. But in Siege, I'm having fun with him. I mean, he'll be one of those characters. He'll be entertaining. He's definitely
I mean,
useful as a Red Robin replacement.
right now, I mean, I'm trying to compete for, Aries frag, so I'm having to do the 3 with the 1, and it sucks. I've got 3 powerful characters, and I've got Mr. Miracle, which is almost like taking nobody right now.
Yeah.
So as far as that goes, what's my opinion? Yeah, he sucks.
For Legendary Order on Mr. Miracle, I originally had 2, 3, 1, 4, 5, but I think I'd push 1 to the end now, just because it rarely does good damage, and it only does it against an opposite affinity, which most of the shielding characters are going to be blue and green. I think you really want to go after his. If you're going to go for him, you really want to play to his niche, which is his 2 and 3, which are the two that are important. I think his 4 is probably going to be pretty useful too for transferring debuffs. I don't have that one yet. The only 2 I have is 2 and 3. Luke, since you have them geared, do you agree with that?
I did 1 and 2 only because I don't know. I was just like, you know what? In a couple days, I'll have them higher. By tomorrow he'll be L4. So I went 1, 2, and then I'm going to go 3, 4, and probably not put in 5.
Why would you not put in 5?
I think it's a waste of 100,000 legendary essence.
Amen.
That's fair. I mean, but on defense, let's say someone kills your Miracle and he comes back.
Yeah.
That's why I hate fighting a Swamp Thing. It's not because I can't kill him and he's like OP or anything, but for him to revive and then bring back awareness to his team, it really makes it annoying to fight.
You have a good point there. It might help me in Siege.
Yeah, because I'm looking at my Siege log, man, and it's like loss.
Yeah, mine are. Well, speaking of Siege, while we're on that topic, so they did make a couple little alterations. They added tokens to Siege, and then they made some adjustments to Revenge, which Revenge, pretty much, I think they made it so it's kind of on par with board clears, but especially if you're fighting dick mail teams and you can't run a full bonus group. So Siege has been interesting. I've been having a lot of fun this Siege. I wish I could go for World Finest, but my vacation coming up is probably going to ruin that. Because I really like Barda.
I think you can squeeze in a little bit of time.
I'm going to try. We're going to see how that goes.
You know what you could do on PvP?
Take the
you
vacation.
Could just really quickly lose 27 matches. Just start it.
Well, the problem is,
because
I did that on the last cruise, because Siege had just rolled out, and last year, and it takes so freaking long to load on slow Wi-Fi.
Oh, yeah.
So the 27
you
matches,
got that
that's
ghetto
the killer.
Wi-Fi.
Everything else is doable. It's just 27 matches.
Yeah, that's going to take a little bit.
Well, and
you
I
can do that by like hanging
You're
out
pinging
at
at
the pool.
like 10 milliseconds or something, and it's just like 5 minutes to load the screen.
And the cruise we're going on, this one is all-inclusive, so there's going to be a fair amount of drinking involved, and running Siege matches with alcohol is dangerous.
That's the only way to do it.
Biscuits win the biscuit, man.
Exactly. I'll definitely be more ballsy than usual. So.
I was given a set of rules by Sensei. He said, you can't play for the first hour and a half when you wake up.
I've learned that lesson.
Ever. It's like, if you do that, you're either going to lose a tune or you're going to get killed.
I've done that before, and you got to be really careful when you first wake up and you're drinking your coffee to not accidentally run your auto wraith team in Siege.
Oh, yeah, I've done that too.
Oh, man.
I've done that too.
So let's move on to the shining star of the month, which is Aries. His rework. I am so impressed with him. He is my MVP in every Siege match.
So I've never had him geared because I'm a poor little free-to-play like Vorhess here.
You were no free-to-play. You're fake. You're fake free-to-play.
Liar.
A fake to pay, okay?
Yeah, fake to pay.
Okay, but I've never had him. I've only been farming him through the PvP packs. I only just got him to L2. Recently geared him. I've never used him prior to his rework. What was he like before his rework?
I mean, he was okay, but
It's all right.
he couldn't take a hit. I mean, a higher gun dead shout could one-shot him.
His
Easily.
health was a lot less.
Yeah. He would get
And then
nuked
they
down.
What they do? Just put him on steroids?
Yeah, his
Now
stats.
he's
I mean,
got-
his
when you
abilities
run
are
him
almost
as
the
leader,
same.
It's like 90-something thousand health.
He just has so much health. Before, he would. I mean, it really. I mean, there's nothing that's different other than his stats have just been. He was put on steroids. But now, I mean, I'm running him in Siege, and I comfortably run him against any physical characters, and I know he isn't going to die. And that death
Slow down.
reward.
Hey, wait, slow down. I'm writing all this down. Hold on.
The only
Go ahead.
abilities you need for him, honestly, is you could survive. You could happily go Legendary 1 and just take his 2, his Death and Glory. That, because I know a lot of people want to. I mean, his leader's great too, so you want his 5 if you want to run him as leader. But in most Siege matches, right now, I'm running Martian Manhunter, and I'm running him as, outside a leader. And he is the reason I don't lose tunes, because as soon as they get low on health, I give them the 6 strength up and enrage them, and then give them because their life is, if they're below 50% health, the legendary upgrade is apply that 6 stamina up, and that brings them back to like 2/3 life.
Well, they get the death immunity after the 50%
Yeah, they also
mark.
get death immunity, but I usually don't need that. I just need the stamina ups to bring their health back, and then they can take a few more hits again. But if you watch the YouTube version, you will see he saves my butt over and over and over and over.
So he's like more just like a team support kind of guy where he just gets fat and makes your other people fat, right?
Yeah, he does okay damage. I mean, he definitely doesn't do high damage, but he does plenty of damage to kill off greens. I mean, you're not gonna one-shot him or anything, but you'll whittle him down. And the good thing is the 6 strength ups he gives a character. You can make like a character like Donna Troy actually hit pretty hard, or Arsenal doesn't do a ton of damage, but when he's got 6 strength up, he does a significant amount of damage at that point. So, I mean, he's a good character. And then his AoE isn't bad. The one thing I've noticed though is every time, and tell me if this happens to you, Luke. Every time I use his energy sword, the character he enrages is the other Aries. Every single time.
Every time.
I think it's a bug.
It's really frustrating, and in fact, I would say just don't use it.
I like it. Well, because
not when you're running against the other Aries. I'm saying,
I ran it
if
against
you're in Siege, don't use it.
Sure, that's fair. I ran it against the Superman team, and I crit, his teammates, and then, how his leadership, he just like taunts and gets the damage immunity. Well, Superman ended up getting the, buff immunity, and then he just couldn't do anything. So I was just, chipping away at his team.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great ability. It's a great move. It's just most teams you face have Aries, and you don't want to enrage them.
Yeah.
Because when he's enraged, his basic will stun a target, 60% chance. So, and then you can also, with a legendary upgrade, do an additional 30% damage. And then his damage isn't scary for your green characters, but he still does a decent amount. So if he's enraged, he's got 6 strength up, or, he's buffed himself and then he does that additional 30 damage against your energy character, he can kill off a weaker one, like a lower health pooled Martian Manhunter or Captain Cold. So
every time you enrage him, he gets stamina ups. So if you throw that sword at him and he gets enraged, you just made him stronger.
yeah, the light heal doesn't do much of a heal, so that isn't so much a big deal. But
No,
every
it's
time,
those stamina ups.
yeah,
They're killer.
but he's a solid character. He's definitely worth the investment. I've actually even chewed on the idea of rebirthing him like Bolsey did, but I'm not sure just because I don't feel like he needs it. It's one of those things I mean, maybe for the damage, but
Well, get ready, because after this week, there's going to be a lot more of them.
yeah, it definitely is. I can rebirth twice right now, and I can do 2 rebirths, and I can't decide who to do, so I'm just kind of sitting and waiting.
Yeah, I've been like Kage. I've been just kind of slowly chipping away, getting his frags when I can, So I think I'm also at L2. I've been putting some resources into him lately since his rework, trying to get him ready for after PvP. And
If you run him, if you have like a lot of crit characters like Steppenwolf or Deadshot, Hired Gun, um, there's a few other crit characters in the game. Can't really think of them right now, but if you run him with Aries, he just gets really fat and just, hard to kill. That's when he really shines. I
Yeah,
think.
he's not as good on like a Hal Jordan team because he can't get enraged for the first 2 turns, and so at first I was running with Hal Jordan, I was not as impressed, and then I started playing with him with Steppenwolf, and I suddenly was like, oh wow, he just brings the pain. So just overall, great character. Legendary order I like for him is, I think what did I do for him?
I would do 2-3-5, right?
I did
2-3-5.
2-5-1-3-4 was what I went.
But the one isn't doing that much damage.
I mean, it's 30% more. I don't really feel like the buff immunity is as useful because it's random. I like it, it's good, but it's random. And then
But
the
I
heal
think,
is light.
well,
It is
think
100% when there's only one band standing.
That's
Yeah.
So
true.
if you're up against one tune, they do get that buff immunity. It's guaranteed.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
pretty
maybe you're right.
close.
I'll adjust it. 3-1. You make a good point.
Yeah, I would do
No.
a 2-3. I don't know. I would do 2-3-5 really, or 2-3-1-5.
I guess it just depends on how often you plan to use him as leader.
Yeah.
My whole gripe with his leadership is it just makes him more tanky. Doesn't actually. He
Well,
doesn't have taunt.
it was.
So, I
I
mean-
did find I faced a Batwoman team, and those are the scariest ones in Siege in my mind. And he took a Batwoman hit as a leader.
Oh no, he can take the hits. There's no question about it. And she's going to go after your blue. But just overall, he doesn't protect your team, except that he's blue.
Well, you could just be a little creative and run like Poison Ivy or Constantine with him and just throw a taunt on him.
Yeah, you could. Totally.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know. He's good. All I can say is, if you're on the fence on whether you should gear him, I highly recommend it. He will keep your team alive. You'll be able to attack, probably face teams that you normally couldn't take, just because he can survive. You're not scared of Wonder Girl. Her lasso, he'd laugh at. The rest of your team might die, but he does. Yeah, he does. He does a lot of buffs. So Wonder Girl is a little scary with him. If you have the legendary upgrade, which you absolutely need that legendary upgrade, he's going to do 12 buffs to a character. So that definitely puts you in the danger zone right away.
Yeah.
We're playing in the danger zone.
I mean, he's not going to be a good character if raids are still kind of like the way they are before. If and when raids come back, which honestly, at this point, if they don't come back, I'm not going to be that upset. So, but I'm sure they're gonna. So, if they're anything like
I
they
don't
were
want
before.
I don't want it. I'm going to not play it if it comes back in the exact same form.
What
I
a
killed myself
train
to
wreck.
get to that 500 million.
I think we're all
And
having like
it was
PTSD
terrible.
flashbacks.
So,
Yeah,
Voorhees,
it
as a
like
free-to-play, what was your
scarred
thought
me.
on raids?
Oh man. Yeah, it was a train wreck. Definitely, it was a mess. I don't think that they took any of our advice on the community center when they asked, even on Reddit, any of that stuff. It's like they didn't even listen to a word anyone said. They just kind of just put.
They did give us the
Dark side at the
dismiss all.
end,
That
and-
was nice.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh yeah, they totally threw us a carrot there.
Well,
I mean, when you're slamming down on heroics and you're just trying to get them done and you're getting interrupted every, yeah, I can see why they did that, but at the same time, it's like it's so minute compared to some of the other things they could have done to make it so much better.
Well, and
And-
people complained about the weekend long, which, everybody's like, well, it was only 24 hours. I didn't have time. So they did the weekend, which I think doing a weekend, I know a lot of people are like, I don't want a whole weekend. You need to go back 24 hours. The weekend was not the problem. It was that they moved the goalpost so incredibly high that you had to
Oh,
play
they
for
were
31 straight hours.
ridiculous.
So
They were ridiculous. I mean, I'm like after the first day, I'm looking at my score and I'm looking at, the top and I'm like, there's no way I'm going to get there. I mean, there is no way.
Well, and then they also need to make the bosses spawn earlier so that you can get the higher points. You don't. The first 2 days were a complete waste. I mean, you might as well. I mean, I didn't play it at that much the first 2 days because it was like the first one. Then the bosses were going to be bigger, and I'm glad I did that. But then you have like 12 hours to do 500 million points, and it's pure insanity. And it's
Well, my
not fun.
biggest complaint of all was, and it happened to me, was the last hour. Everybody was trying to play, and I couldn't win a match. I couldn't even keep a match going for longer than 10 seconds without locking up or getting kicked off or
Yeah,
something.
it
I mean,
got bad.
I had several matches where I'd just watch Steppenwolf or Darkseid just stand there for a minute and 20. And I'm like, you're frantically pushing buttons and trying to get something to happen, and nothing's happening. So, you just wasted that energy. And, I'm buying this stuff with gems that I've saved specifically for this raid. And, it's pissing that all out the window.
Yeah,
The
we've
last
lost
hour.
a few alliance mates over this already.
And the bad part of it was I was so close to hitting the next milestone for my alliance and personally, and I couldn't hit it because I couldn't even get a match the last hour. I mean, it was impossible.
Yeah, sometimes you
so
can
I
even
was-
get the boss to spawn too. Yeah.
I was really, 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 really angry about that. So, yeah. I mean, it wasn't enough to get me to quit, obviously. I mean, I've had worse things happen to me, but, yeah, it was definitely one of those things where you're thinking about, man, all this time we've been waiting for this, and this is it, huh? All right,
Yeah.
cool.
Now most of us are like, if it just doesn't come back, nobody's going to be that upset. I mean, there are a
Exactly.
few people that like it, but it was minimal.
I was talking to
I want
the
to
Alliance.
hit.
I was talking to the Alliance
Go ahead,
the other
Kage.
day. Yeah, I was talking to the Alliance, and I think I was talking to you and the boy Luke. I was like, it's kind of like when you're dating a girl, and then just something just kind of happens. You're like, man, do I really want to see this girl anymore?
It's
But-
true.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
give them the benefit of the doubt and just say that conservative estimate, they're probably gonna take like 5 more iterations of raids before it gets good.
Yeah.
I want to hit on something Voorhees said before. They asked us for a ton of feedback, and we gave it
Yes.
to them. And in the feedback, I read a lot of it. There was some seriously very well thought out, very well documented ideas to make it better. And
I
these
could
were
not
not
agree-
hard to implement ideas. These were just common sense. Oh, yeah, that would have made it better. Like, yeah, for sure. It should have been this way. I think it was 100 million points during the beta. And in the beta, I think we all said, wow, that was kind of a lot of points. It did. It felt like a lot. We were like, oh, when we hit the milestone and got those tokens, or crystals, sorry, we were all like really excited because we busted our butts to do it. And I think it was a pretty fair thing that, most people didn't like the beta. They thought it was too grindy. It wasn't very fun. It was a damage festival. There's no strategy in that. It's who can do the most damage as fast as possible, period, end of story. So
Why
the
ask
beta was bad, and they just made it so much worse.
And then why ask for feedback and input if you're not going to implement any of it? That was kind of my
agree.
thing.
Like, if this was the quality of life change that we're hearing about,
No, this isn't the quality of life
I'd be
changes.
shocked.
This was raids. That's going to be
Well,
separate.
I personally know people that came back from, other games we won't
do,
mention, that came back just to play the raid, and then were like, okay, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and go back where I was. It's like, yeah, sorry guys,
We
If this was
lost
your-
people because of this raid.
if this was their attempt to get people back, they blew it. They dropped the ball bad. That's my opinion.
I agree with you.
Well, hopefully the next iteration, I guess a little bit on that topic, is we do have a new community manager, which we hadn't had a chance to mention with all the raids kind of derailing all of our other plans, which is Warner Brother Reeves. So I will say she took a ton of feedback from the forums, Reddit, from us. We kind of bulleted out pretty much everything everybody was talking about, and went back to the team with that. So hopefully they listen the second time around and make some iterations. At the very least, if nothing else, just lower the goalposts down. If it's going to take a long time to do the rest, if you just lower the goalposts so it's not so grindy, that'd at least be a good first step. But obviously we want to see some kind of strategy to it, and there's many other things we all want.
Yeah, it shouldn't be just a mindless grind fest like heroics. It should not be. There should be a little bit of fun involved in it. And
strategy and
yeah. It wasn't. There was none of that. It was just, pick the most tunes that do the most damage. I mean, there were no buffs, no strategy with that at all.
There was no
none
mechanics. That's
No.
the issue.
I will say that I do like what they did with Steppenwolf. They gave him a new affinity, right? And so that was kind of a good curveball-ish. And
Yeah,
then
that jacked me up the first time I saw that. I was like,
I was
oh,
happy
man.
about
yeah, and then,
it's definitely something they could build on. Like they have
Yeah.
the skeleton, now just flesh it out properly, and we could have something good. But in its
And then-
current iteration, it's
If they listen.
And I mean, there's free resources right there. Like if you kill the boss, get the free PV energy, go back and farm your heroics. I mean, that's good. That's a good way to farm some stuff that. Is
Yeah, I
kinda
mean, I
short
got a
game.
ton of experience. I mean, I'm over 200 million green essence now. I got a ton of XP meta agents, so I was able to take all the characters I was missing to 80 for Siege. Mr. Miracle's already 80. So, I mean, that part of it was good, but the grind. I can't do that grind. Last on our list.
there is one thing that I wanted to mention about the whole raid thing before we stop talking about it.
Okay.
Is I was very happy with the sliding sails. I liked them.
That was amazing.
I was happy to keep going. Now I know Vorhess would say you're out of your mind.
Yes.
As a whale, and I like to buy stuff that's shiny. I would have kept going. I actually said to an alliance mate, "Does this ever stop? Can I go to 1,000,000 gems?"
Jesus Christ.
And I would have done it. Like, if they want to have a cash grab, just open the door. I will buy it all.
I will say that
Dude, did the military test waterboarding on you to make sure it was effective? Good God.
They did. That's why I'm so crazy. I asphyxiated.
I will say though that when I got my little iTunes report that they email you, and I'm like, we're only 5 days into this month. I was like, that is really bad.
Wait, you read those? I put those in an auto delete, goes right to the trash. You're asking for pain. I can't believe you read those things.
Yeah, it was more painful than you. I was like, oh my God, that was like 5 days. I was like, I still have the rest of the month. This is insanity. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna have a loot level month this month.
Are you married, Loot?
Married with 2 children.
Yeah, so you know real pain.
Yeah. Oh, and a small little doggy.
Oh, wow.
So to wrap this up, because it's getting a little long in the tooth, and I got to edit tonight, because tonight's my only night to be able to do this, and this will be our last episode this week, and I'm sure we'll have one probably early next week, but we won't have another one after this one. Is we do want to say goodbye to Stanner. I know a lot of the community don't know Stanner, but for those of us that are on the feedback panel, I will say behind the scenes, Stanner did a lot for this game. There were a lot of things that you probably would not have been very happy about that did not make it into the game because of Stanner's efforts. And we know she's going to, this wasn't a leave the game because it was doing bad or anything along those lines. She's leaving to a game that she's a huge Harry Potter fan. Like so much of a nerd that she went to the conventions and stuff. So she got to go to a game she loves. And so we're definitely giving her a well wish. Kage, I know you knew.
Anybody going to follow her over there and get an L5 Dumbledore?
I'm definitely going to... I don't know anything about that game or that world. I didn't read any of the books. I haven't seen any of the movies. But I'll probably go troll the community just for fun. And because Stanner definitely is somewhat amused by some of the trolling out there. So I'll have to go and talk about characters and just get on their message or Reddit board and drive people
Yeah.
crazy. I think that'll be entertaining.
Yeah, believe it or not, Stanner cared a lot about the game and the community. So, yeah. That's all I gotta say.
All right. Well, later, Stanner.
All right, guys, we'll go ahead and end here. Like I said, we'll be back sometime, probably middle of next week, and I'm going to try to get this out we're recording now on Wednesday, so hopefully this will be out by Thursday. All right, guys, well, thanks for coming on, Vorhess. I'm sure we'll have you on again as our free-to-play representative. We have a handful of you guys that we're accumulating to give the free-to-play perspective, as that was a common criticism, being whale-centric.
Hey,
I
thanks
think it's
for
better
having me
that way.
on. Yeah, thanks for having me on. I don't know why I'm on here because of all the crap I've said, but hey, you know what? You guys are doing a good job.
Unlike the politicians
We're really
out there, we
happy to
believe in
have
building
you.
bridges. So. And, Kage's our fake to play, so we can't really count him as free to play. So.
No.
All right, guys.
All right, guys.
See you later.
Hey everyone, it's 2Dtron. Thank you for listening to the WROL Broadcasts. If you like the show, consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/WROL Broadcasts. We gotta go though, because Lute said he's gonna buy me a Rebirth Blue Beetle if I babysit his 12 kids. See ya.